Hello, my fellow Welt lovers. Alright, y'all, strap in, because we've got some piping hot Firefly copium to guzzle and a big OL leak bucket to scoop from, and I'm about to unload every crumb we have so far onto this theoretical hype train we all can't seem to stop riding. Topping up in Genshin or Star Rail can get expensive, and let's be honest, we've all seen those in-game prices and wished they were just a bit lower. Well, that's exactly what LD Shop is here for. This is LD Shop, the official top-up platform developed by the LD Player Emulator Group. It lets you top up your favorite games like Genshin Impact and Star Rail at huge discounts, up to 23% off or more. And yeah, it's super easy to use. All you need is your server and UID, and your top-up will show up in-game within just a few minutes. It's safe, reliable, and used by thousands of players. You can even compare prices, for example, something like the Supply Pass or a 6480 Stellar Jade Bundle. It's way cheaper here than in-game. If you register using my link, you'll get a 15% off coupon and an extra 5% off coupon, which can save you up to $50 on your first top-ups. Plus, LD Shop gives you the same first top-up bonus you get in-game, so you're not missing out on anything. And if you're planning to spend more, here's a bonus. If you spend over $80, you'll unlock VIP status, which gives you a free supply pass and more perks. So if you're looking to save while still getting everything you normally would in-game, just use the link in the description and get Phanon or the Fate collab characters while saving more. First off, let's address the burning jet-fueled elephant in the room. Firefly is getting buffed, confirmed, in the first half of next year. That's right. Firefly mains? We eaten. Not today, not tomorrow, but baby, it's coming. And it's about time, because let's be real here. Our little engine of destruction has been sputtering a bit lately, and it's not even her fault. It's the game's fault. Specifically, HP creep. And not the good kind. The kind that ruins her whole ignition loop and makes you want to uninstall after missing a kill by 2% HP. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The biggest reason Firefly is falling off right now is that bosses and elite mobs are getting thick. Like, thick with multiple CS. And Firefly's entire value hinges on her ability to one-tap the enemy with her ultimate. If she can't, welcome to the pain zone. Because that one miss means you're waiting 2 more entire turns to get back into ignition. That's 2 whole cycles. That's eternity in mock time. You blink and your turn efficiency is in shambles. Her kit just isn't forgiving about that second ultimate. 1 clean kill? Beautiful. No cycle lost. 2 ults? That's why sometimes she's a top-tier monster, and other times she's face-planting in front of a turtle. It ain't the player's fault. It's just how punishing her rotation gets if things don't line up perfectly. And here's the part that's interesting. If you've been paying attention to Firefly's design, you'll start to notice something really specific. Her entire value lives and dies by how long she can stay in her ignition state. The moment she gets kicked out of that form too early, or fails to clean up a wave with a single ULT, it's game over. You're suddenly waiting 2 full turns just to ramp her back up, and in a cycle-based game like Star Rail, that delay is brutal. The buffs your supports dropped are long gone, enemies are taking extra turns, and your time to kill just doubled. That's not a little hiccup. That's a full-blown meltdown of her damage loop. And the worst part? Once she drops out of ignition, there's no real shortcut to get back in. Action advance? Doesn't help her. External batteries? Useless. Her team doesn't synergize with any of the usual turn-cheating mechanics. That's why this upcoming buff is such a big deal. It's not about raising her raw numbers, it's about tightening up that uptime, giving her more consistent access to ignition, and smoothing out that awkward gap where she just becomes a glorified cheerleader waiting to pop off again. That's why this upcoming buff to Firefly is actually a big deal. The leaks suggest she'll be getting better uptime on her ignition mode. Think Jinglu 2.0 levels of uptime. Remember when Jinglu got that indirect buff, where she could stay in her damage phase more consistently with Hysilens? Same logic applies. Her raw damage didn't skyrocket, but her reliability and buff window synergy got cranked to 11. That's the kind of buff Firefly desperately needs. Doesn't even need to be a giant stat rework. Just tweak the loop, shorten the delay between ignition cycles, and BAM, you've got a top-tier fire carry again. And honestly, with how fast Mach is becoming a cycle-efficient game, she needs this just to survive the meta creep. Now, let's pivot to something juicier. The future sales tier list dropped. You know the one. The spicy rankings that every leaker scrambles to translate and everyone argues about like it's gospel. So according to the charts, we've got some interesting predictions for character revenue potential. Let's go over the ones we care about.
Cyrene?
S+. That's right, the pink-haired beauty is expected to print money. And honestly, we've seen this coming. She's got fan appeal, great kit synergy, and every visual cue of being the next waifu meta hitter. March 7th, our eternal Trailblazer mascot?
A tier.
Respectable, honestly. They clearly still expect people to roll her Idolins or a light cone if she ever gets a new alt. Dan Heng though? Dan freaking Heng?
C tier.
Hold up, before y'all freak out, there's context. This isn't some slap in the face to the Dan Heng Nation. In fact, it might be the biggest wink-wink nudge-nudge in Honkai history. Why is he C-ranked? Because, allegedly, he's going to be given away for free. Like, log in, and he's yours free. And if you look at the leaked text, it explains the logic. Characters that are free have no revenue expectations, so they get bumped down in the sales ranking. But Dan Heng still landed at C. Not D, not E, not who.
C.
Which means Hoyo actually expects his fanbase to still drop coin on his light cone or Idolins. That's faith. That's respect. If I'm not mistaken, Anaxa, a character who wasn't even free, was slapped with a D rank. That should tell you everything you need to know. And honestly,
it tracks.
Dan Heng's got a ridiculous fanbase. He's been there since the beginning. He's got lore, drama, glow-ups, betrayal arcs. He's basically the main character half the time. Making him free would be the smartest goodwill move ever, especially if they know people will chase his gear anyway. And don't even get me started on the theory that this might tie into a future re-release of his IL form, or even a dual-element version down the line. Free base Dan Heng with paid upgrades? That's marketing 101, baby. While we're on this sales ranking leak, can we just take a moment to appreciate the god-tier squad at the top? Acheron, Firefly, Pre-Buff Copium still strong, Faciao, the Herda, Castor Ice, and Phanon. All ranked S or higher. That's elite club status. These are the characters that Hoyo expects to carry the banner revenue-wise. And it makes sense. They either have cracked kits, huge visual appeal, or narrative importance. In Herda's case, all three, plus memes. Never underestimate meme power. And before you ask, yes, that absolutely affected sales projections. It's not even speculation at this point. The meta's one thing, but design choices still shape wallets more than numbers ever will. Of course, this whole ranking thing has its disclaimers. As an uncle once famously said, a high pre-release rank doesn't mean the character is automatically broken. It just means their Idolins scale better, or they're expected to have strong synergy and support baked into their design. But the real meta, the true tier list, that doesn't form until we see the environment they're dropped into. If a character launches with zero synergy and no relic support, I don't care if they're triple S in the leaks, they're gonna flop like a whale in a kiddie pool. It's all about timing and team comp. So yeah, between Firefly's planned ignition buff, the implications of Dan Heng getting handed out like candy, and Cyrene shaping up to be the next revenue queen, we're in for a wild few patches. I haven't even mentioned how Violuna might throw all this off with whatever chaos she brings, or how the old 1-to-X era didn't even get these sales projections because the meta was too undeveloped back then. We're entering a whole new phase of Honkai Star Rail now. It's no longer about throwing strong kits into a void and hoping they hit. Every new unit is crafted with one eye on performance and one eye on profit, and honestly, that makes the leak season even more cracked than before. So buckle up, Trailblazers. Firefly's making a comeback. Dan Heng might be knocking on your Trailblaze level 20 door with a free welcome package, and the revenue wars are heating up faster than Kafka's ULT in a mono lightning team. Whether you're a meta chaser, a simp, or a filthy casual who just wants to see Welt smile, there's never been a better time to obsess over digital tier lists and pretend we aren't gonna roll anyway no matter what they say. Stay chaotic, keep your jades hoarded or not. I'm not your dad, and may your 50/50 S be forever blessed.